Okay, looking at the next 30 days and what you need to know most. So, what we have on the table here, the major themes are the soul connector or light 23, and this is returning from a different spread recently. We have Fantasyland, make sure everyone involved is being realistic and on the same page. We have adapt to transformation, so embrace energy with open arms, for it is the catalyst to your revolution and growth. And then the angel number is all about personal power 8888. This is abundance, prosperity, strength, harmony, confidence, wealth, empowerment, and epic romance. All that is good and pleasant in your life is about to multiply. Angels are sending this number to reassure you of the prosperity and well being that lie ahead. Your surroundings will treat you with admiration and respect. Use your personal power for the greater good. So, with these four together, the overall energy for the next 30 days is about slowing down. This is about centering, and I feel like a strong need to reconnect with higher guidance before you're making any kind of moves. The clarifying cards give some clear themes here too. So this fantasy land, the personal power, and the adapt to transformation. And fantasy land is a reminder to keep things really realistic and not get lost in illusions. So make sure we are all on the same page here. Adapt to transformation tells me that change is inevitable. There's a lot of ups and downs that may come through this transformation in the next 30 days and through this slowing down and centering. But it is also adapting to growth. And the more we flow with it, the easier it does get. So this is about your own adaptability and staying strong in your personal power while you're having to adapt. This personal power card, this is huge. This is about abundance and strength, basically, and using your power not just for yourself, but for other people as well. Being selfless in your power and what it gives everyone. So the next 30 days, this is essentially going to be focusing on slowing down, grounding in truth, adapting gracefully to shifts, and stepping into your personal power. Let's dig in. Let's get going. I want to use this deck. So what is this next 30 days? What is this theme, this energy? What does this deal with in life? Nine of Swords. Anxiety, overthinking. You've been incredibly stressed out the last several weeks or months. And this is making sure that I think things are grounded and you're moving slowly and you're really, really connecting with your higher self here. There's every reason to have the personal power that you need to move forward and to adapt to the changes coming in your life. But it's going to require you to essentially, I'm getting like a image of playing Super Mario. You know, you gotta take out King Koopa in order to get the princess. This isn't about some major change or transformation coming in either. We have the tower here as what it does not represent. So there isn't going to be some huge, like, blown out of the water, knock your socks off, like slap in the face that you have to adapt to here. This is about your own health and your stability and your confidence in basically your sense of groundedness. I mean, the Queen of Pentacles is very soul connector energy here because this is about that slowing down. It's about that connecting deeper within and checking with your guides and your intuition as you navigate The advice for the next 30 days is the Four of Swords in reverse and the Eight of Cups. And I usually only read this deck in the upright, so we will take it as it lands. I think you have been inactive too long. There is a sense of kind of waiting. Oh, I'm still healing. Oh, I'm still settling. There's just so much going on. There's all these reasons not to move and to sit where you are. And it's time to really leave that behind, like fully, emotionally. Check out from that. You're almost using it as a crutch in a way that's unhealthy. And it needs to be moved on from here, because there is this leading to a new sturdy beginning. You have the Ace of Pentacles, a new opportunity coming. Definitely want to see more about what that's going to look like here. What you don't see is this is an apprenticeship. You are learning something this month, and this is going to take you far to a new opportunity, but you've got to keep motivated and you've got to keep moving with it. You can't give up. You've got to stay very grounded and be realistic with your own boundaries, your own limitations, but it's also needing to really kind of get realistic with yourself as what maybe you're leaning into as a crutch to not make these moves, take these actions, and grow in this direction. There is limitless potential here on the bottom of the deck, by the way, the angel numbers 0000. So there is a transformation, there is serenity, trust, achievement, release, potential, success, and triumph. However, it does require trust, and that's just further echoed and confirmed here with the bumblebee jasper. That stone is about trusting yourself. Bumblebee jasper also is a very creative stone in itself. It is the color of kind of an orangish yellow here. And that does fire up your solar plexus and your sacral chakras. There's an activation here, and this stone can also represent like new projects coming in, new ideas, new things that are leading ultimately to self-expression. And you need to trust, you need to lean into those, because there's a limitless potential there for you if you can trust your, basically your intuition and your, well, I guess I'm being really repetitive here, your connection with your higher self. The bumblebee jasper also gives you the ability to triumph over the impossible. Because bumblebees are in physics like not supposed to be able to fly, and yet they defy gravity in that sense, and they're able to fly around as they do with such disproportionate body weight to wings. And that kind of triumph, that kind of defeat, and that adaptability and not giving up, that personal power, is what's really coming through here that you need to lean into, because you have a lot of opportunities available in the next 30 days. However, if you don't take action and leave behind this kind of I'm stuck like a bump on a log energy, it will not present itself. And really the fear is what's holding you back here. All right, let's get clarifiers. I'm feeling the Nine of Swords here is about this, like it's almost like you stayed in rest too long to your own detriment. This is reminding me of a skull here, even though it's not. It's supposed to be like a helmet. But there's some kind of a rooting here in what I'm getting is just fear, or just like really tumultuous emotions in the past leading up to this month. That's caused just an extreme amount of anxiety and unrest, dis-ease. I feel like it's been a bit of an emotional back and forth of like, do I just stay and rest longer, or do I actually plant the seed and grow it? And that in itself is just a wrestling of the mind. I'm only going to take one of these. And this is, yeah, as I said, this isn't some like shocking truth coming through or some shocking conversation or idea or realization. You're not going to be just blown out of left field all of a sudden. That's not what this month is about. This month is about stability. It's about moving slow and steady like the tortoise. You have a new beginning on the horizon, but you are still bound. You're still bound by something here. We're going to dig deeper into that devil. Perhaps you are bound with this thought of not being ready. The page is eager to learn, but he has not learned much yet. He's still seeking. In some way, you feel held back, and you need to be able to adapt. Ten of Cups. The Star. And the Knight of Pentacles. It's a slow, steady healing journey, and I think you're getting closer and closer to realizing your ultimate happiness here in what you have or what's available to you right now. You're seeing that not taking action is actually making this take longer than it needs to. I don't know why. It looks like her hand is like shooting up at the star. Like she's got it cocked like a gun, like like pew pew. I'm getting a really strong sense that like the star has finally revealed itself to you. It wasn't clear before. As the sun is coming up over here, you can actually see what direction you need to go more. But it is that slow and steady pace. Knight of Pentacles, very slow. The Tower is back. Ten of Pentacles, the Tower. The Three of Cups and the Six of Wands. Wow. There is something something long-term coming for you. Let me feel into this because I'm actually getting two versions here. I guess I'll say them both, and then when you watch back, you'll figure it out. Ten of Pentacles. This may be something that you've already been stuck in for like a long time. Something that just feels like it just keeps holding on to you. I feel almost weighed down in these roots, like you're trying to let go, but the roots are still there. They're still intertwining you from something old and outdated. And the Tower comes and wipes it away. And in that destruction, in that total dissolution, becomes a reunion or a coming together, a collaboration, a community of some sort. And it's victorious. There's some recognition in that. Or this opportunity for a new long-term investment, a new Ten of Pentacles, being that it's, clarifying the Ace of Pentacles comes out of the blue very unexpectedly and really shakes your world up I think you have to decide what's okay to leave behind and what to carry with you in some regards. And I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that's what I hear. And in this becomes a successful community or collaboration or joining together with others. There's a unity here and recognition or a sense of achievement. It doesn't even, maybe you're not in a spotlight, but there is a sense of success. It all looks very positive. In the end, it just looks like maybe getting there is going to be a bit boring. Or not quite what you wanted. Bottom of the deck, clarifying the Eight of Pentacles, we have the Page of Wands, the Wise One, which is the Hierophant, and then the King of Swords. Somehow meeting groups of three are very important. There is some type of group of three that's very important coming up this next 30 days. And in that, I feel like you got either a communication or a judgment or an understanding, a discernment of what all this work was for. You're already on this opportunity. You're already seeking this new path, and somehow coming together with others leads you to an aha moment. All right, let's look at the blind spot. What is the blind spot for the next 30 days that I need to be aware of? All right, so I had to take a break and read through the card, read through the book because the card definitions are very long, and I don't remember them all by heart. So we have duplicity, number 39. 40 is suppression, and then number 19 is non-commitment. And the gist that I get from these, so non-commitment, this card is talking about a blind spot of maybe avoiding fully committing because you are scared of failure or looking bad or being trapped or making the wrong choice. These kind of fears have you kind of a half in, half out energy with this. And so, in order to move forward, you're going to have to clarify what you're truly committed to and either fully step into it or openly admit that you're not fully stepping into this commitment. Even if you think you're undecided with this energy, you're still committed. And often that commitment is more to distraction or escape or just staying safe, feeling safe. And then with 39, we have duplicity. This card highlights self-deception. So you may be presenting one face to the world while hiding or denying like deeper truths within you or deeper truths about yourself. So sometimes what we resist most strongly points directly to what we're actually struggling with. And this is about catching yourself in hypocrisy or projection, showing one thing outwardly but battling the opposite internally. The medicine here is radical honesty with yourself. So be aware that you may be telling other people you're okay with something or you'll go along with it or you're excited about something, and really deep down you're like, I don't want anything to do with this. That's an example here of the duplicity. And then suppression. So here the blind spot is bottling up your true emotions and your desires. Again, this kind of ties in with duplicity because you're not expressing your true emotions or desires in a certain situation in the next 30 days. And that could be because maybe you're not willing to admit them. You're not willing to look at them. You're not committed to really fleshing them out. You're committed to escaping what you really want and what your true emotions are. This is a blind spot of potentially suppressing anger or sadness or fear, and not really understanding that this doesn't make them go away. Actually, it just festers and then leaks kind of out sideways, or creates a distance between you and others in the suppressed emotions. So this card here is really pushing you to allow your emotions expression, free expression, even if just privately at first. You don't have to go tell everybody off. You can tell it yourself in the mirror or whatever, write it out and burn it. But to really allow yourself to move through the layers. So, we have the 5 stages of grief. We have anger, and then disappointment and insecurity, understanding, love. These are stages of grief. I think these are just deeper emotional layers that you really need to leach through. But there's these certain layers that you need to process so that you can go from anger and go through the grief and the sadness of it into understanding and love. And the healing comes through acknowledging and actually voicing your truth. So speak up. Speak up what you really want. Speak up your emotions. Have your personal power here. There's every reason for you to. There's no reason to hesitate. But make sure what you're speaking, you're fully committed to. And I think overall, for the next 30 days, your blind spot, really, to summarize the 3 together, is avoidance through hiding, whether by not committing, whether by deceiving yourself, or by pushing your emotions down and suppressing them. This next month is going to really be about honesty with yourself and with others. And it's going to be, with what you're truly feeling here and getting really real with it. You're being asked to stop skimming the surface and actually to bring buried truth into the light. So full commitment plus radical honesty plus emotional expression equals really the path to your breakthrough here. You can't live in half truths. Clarity, honesty, and emotional realness is going to serve you really well in the next 30 days. And that's something that's going to have to be just kind of worked on as you go. So let's get wisdom of the oracle. I haven't used this deck in a minute. And we'll close this out with, I'm not sure yet if I want an Akashic Truth or a spell card. So you have a time to go, a leg up. We need one more. And then why? To the sea. Okay, so with to the sea in protection mode, the first thing that I'm getting here is that when it is feeling like every opportunity or road or path is blocked, instead of beating your head against the wall, quit fighting the resistance of the world around you and relax into it. This is a good opportunity to repair what needs to be done internally to address these blind spots that we were talking about earlier, the non-commitment, the suppression, the duplicity. This is about taking care of your own home and your own garden when you can't go to sea, when you can't go out. There is an ebb and flow to everything in life. And right now you're in a bit of an ebb in the next 30 days. Now, counterintuitive to that, you have time to go. But time to go isn't about just taking off and running right away. Actually, this card is about being in that pregnant pause where you have just completed a journey, but you are still getting ready for the next one. And really taking the opportunity to take stock of where you're at, what blessings you've achieved, what are incurred, what lessons you've learned. There is a new way of being coming towards you very soon. And right now there is really not anything for you to do or to be or to experience in your present circumstances except for just really moving on when the time comes, and you've had that in your cards. You have the Eight of Cups, as your advice, and you'll know that when the time comes, it's time to kind of cut those strings, cut those ties, and get a clean slate, a new attitude, a new way of experiencing the world around you. A leg up tells me that you have people that will come and help you on this journey. And you need to have the personal power and the discernment and the humbleness to accept their help. Because honestly, you're at this spot in life in the 30 days to come where you're not going to be able to do something on your own. You're going to need the support from others. And then the last message from your guides is why. Why do you do the things you do? What motivates you? What is your true why for wanting something, for doing something, for chasing something? Why do you feel like you can't, act as a sailor when they can't go to sea? They stay home and repair their nets. So why aren't you able to embrace that energy and allow this kind of natural ebb and flow to take place? Your motives are going to be a lot of your personal power. And there's actually a great understanding to be had when you can understand your motives for why you do the things you do or why you don't do the things you don't do. Okay, final closeout. We will do a magical spell card for the next 30 days. What magic is with you? What magic will you carry? Strength. Strength, stability in this hour, endurance, stamina, I am power. And creativity. By all above and all below, let me connect. Let creativity flow. So you'll need a lot of strength. I don't see this, in summary, next 30 days being about a lot of quick movements, taking a ton of action. There is some things you need to move forward on, but I feel like the time to do that won't be until closer to the end of the 30 days, because first you've got to deal with whatever is going on in your head that has you scared to commit, scared to fly, scared to be honest about something, scared to really feel what you need to feel. And in this sorting out, I think your strength will come through your creativity. I do feel like these two are very linked together. It's almost like I'm getting an Ouroboros, where the strength fuels the creativity, which then turns around and fuels your strength. If you get into those creative flows where you can burn the candle for hours and hours on end, it's almost like they supercharge you. But make sure that you are taking care of yourself too. That Queen of Pentacles is a very strong indication of needing to nurture your physical well-being, your physical health. Well, good luck for the next 30 days. We'll see how this turns out.